kicking off today with Smackdown, and the show being just 24 hours prior to SummerSlam, there was a lot of focus on the biggest party of the summer. In a fantastic segment on Smackdown, Paul Heyman would present a video package detailing the Roman Reigns vs. Jey Uso feud and the importance of tribal combat. This video featured many members of the NYE wrestling family, including footage of High Chief Peter Maivia, and even a brief nod to a certain electrifying A-lister in Hollywood. Yokozuna, Rikishi, Umaga, and the Wild Samoans, and of course Reigns himself, were presented in unique graphics, as Wild Samoan Sika spoke about his son's time as the tribal chief. When Jey Uso emerged to confront Heyman, Solo Sikoa would confront his older brother, but as Jey tried to get in the head of the enforcer, it was clear that Heyman's confidence in Sikoa wasn't all there. The moment of doubt was all Jey needed to get the jump on Sikoa, building up to their main event match, in which Uso would emerge victorious. The big story coming from this match was Jey using The Rock's Layeth the Smackdown series of strikes, and between this and the earlier video, WWE wanted fans thinking about The Rock. As previously reported, WWE has been working on getting The Rock to SummerSlam for a segment with Grayson Waller, though this will depend on the Brahma Bull. With all these references, we can't count out The Rock doing more at SummerSlam than confronting Waller in what will be a huge moment if WWE can pull it off. With or without The Rock, the Anything Goes tribal combat match will be a spectacle, and what did you make of the build on SmackDown? Let us know in the comments. SmackDown also saw LA Knight in action, and for the first time in far too long, Knight got a meaningful win on TV. The opening contest of SmackDown saw Knight defeat a four-time former WWE World Champion in Sheamus, and once again, his popularity with the fans is undeniable. In what may be a first, the commentary team acknowledged just how popular Knight is with the fans, many of whom showed off their pro-Knight signs throughout the match. After getting the win, WWE confirmed that Knight will be an official babyface from now on, as Karrion Kross and Grayson Waller, who had been lumberjacks for the match, chased him off. The fact that two heels were the ones who took issue with Knight's win makes it clear that he's a babyface after weeks, if not months, of WWE holding off on making a turn official. While the match wasn't botch-free, Knight and Sheamus were able to recover from these mistakes, and another good sign for Knight's future on the blue brand. The match did have an awkward spot as Santos Escobar was one of the lumberjacks and was attacked during the match by Austin Theory in a tease of next week's US title match. On paper, a heel champion attacking the face challenger isn't odd, but what was odd was that Escobar celebrated in the ring after the match like he'd won something. Santos celebrating in the ring as the heels were focused on Knight was an odd sight to say the least, and we can't help but wonder what was said backstage after this spot. More from SmackDown as the Brawling Brutes would take on the OC during the show, but neither team would emerge the victor. Instead, it was the Street Profits who caused this match to be a no contest, and the former tag team champions were dressed to impress during their attack. Gone were the group's usual non-wrestling attire, now replaced with formal wear, as last week's segment about dressing better clearly had an effect on Ford and Dawkins. Many have said that this was a heel turn by the Profits, considering that both the Brutes and the OC are popular tag teams, and the duo were joined by Bobby Lashley on the stage. Fans in the arena were loving the reintroduction of the Profits, and Lashley himself got loud chants, but this trio have the skills to make a serious impact on SmackDown. With this reintroduction coming so close to SummerSlam, the group will have more of a chance to shine after tonight's event. But what did you think of this reintroduction and possible heel turn? Sound off down in the comments. It was in late 2022 that Bobby Roode underwent neck fusion surgery, and in May of this year, his career took another setback when he needed a second surgery. Right now, the former NXT champion's future in the ring is looking very uncertain, but Roode will be part of SummerSlam, albeit in a backstage capacity. PW Insider reports that Roode will be backstage at SummerSlam, where he'll be working as a producer, and will be in the same role for next week's Raw in Minnesota. Even before he comes to WWE, Roode was a veteran and had competed in many promotions, so there's no doubt that he has experience, which will help him as a producer. With that said, the producer role is typically reserved for talent after their in-ring careers have ended, such as the case of Jason Jordan, who had been a producer since 2018. Jordan became a producer after injuries ended his wrestling career, and while Roode will likely excel in the role, it has raised more questions about his future in the ring. More injury news now, as it was during the US Championship Invitational Finals that Rey Mysterio got hurt, resulting in the match coming to an abrupt end. At first, it was believed that this injury was kayfabe, but that isn't the case at all, and we now have an update on the Hall of Famer's condition. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was noted that Ray appeared to be fine after the match, but that WWE won't rush him back until they're 100% clear he is ready. Throughout his legendary career, Ray has suffered more than his fair share of injuries, and we're wishing the former world champion a speedy recovery from this latest setback. One name who's been missing for a long time is Randy Orton, as the former WWE World Champion has been off of all TV since May of last year with a back injury. At the time of his injury, WWE had hoped to have the Viper back in time for last year's SummerSlam, which obviously didn't happen, but this year's show could be much more different. PW Insider have confirmed that Orton has been spotted in Detroit ahead of tonight's SummerSlam event, and that he certainly looks ready to make an on-screen appearance. If Orton does show up at SummerSlam though, he likely won't get physical, as the most recent reports have said that he is not cleared to compete or take any bumps at all. Even if he can't do anything physical, merely having Orton on the show in Detroit would be a huge moment, and would earn a massive ovation from the fans in the Motor City. Orton has been advised against wrestling by doctors, but it is said he is committed to making a comeback, and that comeback, at least to TV, may be a matter of hours away. Back to SmackDown, as during an episode of the Grayson Waller Effect with Damage Control, Shotzi came out on her tank, except it wasn't Shotzi at all. Instead, Shotzi, now sporting her new shaved head look, emerged from behind Bayley to attack her and repeatedly attempted to shave the head of the self-professed role model. As for the fake Shotzi on the stage, it was revealed to be Zelina Vega, who was able to beat Io Sky as Miss Money in the Bank was distracted by the Shotzi and Bayley fight. On the stage, Shotzi again attempted to shave Bayley, and we're curious as to where this story is going, and whether Bayley will indeed have her head shaved. Had Shotzi not already shaved her own head in solidarity with her sister, WWE could set up a hair versus hair match, and perhaps Shotzi will have to put something else on the line against Bayley's hair. If so, it'll be the most drastic change to Bayley's look since her heel turn in 2019, and do you want to see it happen? Let us know in the comments. And we're ending today with Edge, who has had a long and successful career in WWE, and the career of the Rated R superstar will be celebrated very soon. On SmackDown, it was announced that a 25-year anniversary celebration will take place on the August 18th SmackDown, which will happen in Edge's hometown of Toronto, Canada. Viewers may recall that last year Edge said he was considering retiring the next time WWE came to Toronto, so we may be in store for a monumental announcement on SmackDown in 2 weeks' time.